Yo. So, one day, I was streaming playing, some Street Fighter, as I always do. One day, and I was looking at all these fighting games, and I was like, wait, all these fighting games that I'm playing are from Japan. Nothing wrong with that, of course. I was just curious. I was like, I wonder what other games are from, like, not Japan. And of course, we got Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. But I was just wondering, I was like, why do most of them actually come from Japan? I literally looked everywhere. I went online, I Googled, I was like, there's gotta be, I just wanted a quick answer. But there was no quick answer. I couldn't find anything. So I just thought it was interesting just to look into. I was like, I wonder why. Because I love fighting games. I'm newer to the fighting game genre, kind of. I started really getting into it with Dragon Ball FighterZ. That's like the first one where I was like learning frame data, kind of, and stuff like that. Learning optimal combos. I was not good at that game at all, though. I think I only made it to like Majin rank, though. Then Guilty Gear Strive came out. So I'm playing all like the new games, like Strive, Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6. You're playing that Fatal Fury. So I'm definitely newer. I haven't played any of the old classic games. I made this slideshow of just things that I found online that can maybe point to why most fighting games come from Japan. So let's get started. This is a list of like potential reasons that I thought maybe that there's a reason why the West isn't making as many fighting games as like Japan does. Because I feel like Japan has like so many fighting games, even like smaller ones that like don't even do crazy well. It was like Under Night, I think, the newest one. Games like that. But so yeah, here are the reasons. They're too difficult to make. They take too long to make. They don't make enough money. Too niche of a genre to invest in. And that the arcade scene is dead in America. These are just questions. I didn't even know what was like true or not. These are just like questions I had. But also, all my info that I'm showing here, kind of like opinions from people. Like all I could find was Reddit threads. Some people asking the same question that I had. They had like 8 responses. But some were good though. Some people said they were like actually developers and like with like their 2 cents on it and stuff like that. So I thought that was interesting. So I just like kind of compiled it all together. Alright, here are some games from the West. I'm not sure where all of these companies are based. We have Mortal Kombat, of course. That's like the biggest game from the West. Of course, we got 2XKO, which is going to be the big one. We're going to see how that does. Free to play. I played the alpha. It was cool, though. It's Riot. Riot usually does good, so it's interesting. We're going to see what they're going to do with this one, like they did with Valorant League. Killer Instinct never played, but I just heard so many good things about it. I didn't know Power Rangers Battle for the Grid was West. And Skull Girls, I've always heard of it, never played it either. And then Fighting Herds. I think that Fighting Herds was like one of the earlier games to have rollback, but I'm not sure. But if you look at this list, the only AAA game I think is Mortal Kombat. Maybe Killer Instinct, I'm not sure. But like these other games are indie. I think even Power Rangers was like indie. Like some like smaller team worked on that game. But yeah, like 2XKO, I don't know if Riot's considered AAA. I feel like they are. There's always that joke that they're like a small indie company, but they make millions of dollars with the Ari skins. So it's just interesting. It's just interesting that all these games are coming from like smaller teams and not like bigger. But it's cool though that the passion is there. So it is there, and that's what I'm talking about. Like these big companies, why aren't they making it from the West? And this is a big maybe. So obviously there's a lot of fighting games, but this is UFC 5. I just want to bring it up because it's a game from the West, and it's kind of a fighting game. I'm not really sure. I was looking into it, and it's not really recognized in the FGC, obviously. It's not at EVO or anything like that. I couldn't find, like, definitive reasons why. But some people are saying just, like, it's more of a realistic take on fighting. And, like, all these other games are unrealistic, like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. In those games, they have crazy powers. They're shooting energy out of their hands. They're doing all these crazy things. Also, apparently, I've never played a UFC, so I don't know if anyone's watching this that has played UFC and plays fighting games. Is there, like, minus on block? I don't know. I heard that there's no balance in this game. It's just, like, whoever's good in real life is good in this game, which makes sense. I've talked to people that like play this, and it's like, I'm like, oh, you ever like consider like playing a normal, like not a normal, but fighting game like Street Fighter? And they're like, no, they just don't care. And then another reason why people say that these games aren't like that popular, I guess, with the fighting games, like the actual sport already exists. Actually watching UFC, so why would I want to watch pros play this game? I guess that was like another topic that people were talking about. And another thing why UFC weren't, I guess, big with the FGC is like it wasn't an arcade game, so like people didn't grow up playing it. Also, apparently this game has RNG. What the fuck? So how does this work? Like, because there's obviously like gonna be a high level, so how does that work? And people are saying this game just looks soulless. Like it's just like realistic. Like it looks, there's no like art style, if that makes sense, as the game. Like I'll show in the next slide. Also, it's EA. Holy fuck EA. And it's not worth taking serious was another thing why UFC not something that FGC was really particularly interested in. Here's some other maybes of like from the games from the West that are fighting games. We have Multiverses and All-Stars Brawl. This was taken, these screenshots of the player count. I don't know if it's putting them on blast. Multiverse is doing better than I thought, actually. These were taken yesterday. It's October 3rd, 2024. 1.9 on Multiverse. These are just Steam, by the way, so it's not counting console. I think these games are cross-platform. I know Multiverse is. I don't know about All-Stars Brawl. I know Brawlhalla is. And Brawlhalla is like the exception. Look at the 11,000 players on Steam yesterday. That's fucking, and I know they're just doing these crazy. Look, they're collabing with Capcom, Mega Man. Wait, and it was owned by. I was looking into it. It's owned by Ubisoft. I'm pretty sure is like the main big company that owns it. See, like All Stars Brawl and Nickelodeon are from the West, and Riot saw that because they're gonna make their own platform fighter. Imagine fucking Yasuo down air me. Anyways, they discontinued their own platform fighter in May of 2024. I guess some people are looking at fighters and just like seeing how they do. So maybe 2XKO is gonna be something like that. Like people are gonna look at it, see how it does, and be like, wait, maybe we can make these fighting games and like do really well. We'll see. All right, now let's get. That's all for the maybes, and now I'm gonna go more in depth to why, the reason why these Western companies aren't picking up fighting games and making original fighting games and stuff like that, which I feel is hard. That's something that's really hard. We'll see. Next slide. All right, this is one big thing I saw, or like I thought about myself when I was making this, or when I was thinking these things of why don't people make fighting games, is that they're way too hard to make compared to other games. I'm not a game developer though. I know nothing about game developer, but these fighting games seem like you have to do so much things to do. So many things. Also, I feel like the big fighting games these days are like franchises that have existed for such a long time. So is it hard for like Western companies just make a brand new fighting game and just like come in and like, you know, do something brand new characters? It's possible. I definitely think it is. Riot, they're making a fighting game, but it's based off League, so like we already know those characters if you played League. Like all these games I'm showing, they've been around for so long. Like Skullgirls is huge, I'm pretty sure. It was probably huger back then. I don't think it's as big, but they had a bunch of like characters, like original characters, so it's definitely possible. They just have to do it. And I was reading this Reddit thread of someone. He said he was a dev and he was making like a 2.5D fighter, and he was saying fighting games are like one of the hardest things to make, which is crazy. Not crazy, I can see it. Another thing, but yeah, that's like one of the reasons they probably don't, because it's really hard to make unique characters. And also you have all these unique characters have to have unique moves, like a whole move set, like a certain way that they fight. And not even that, they have to make sound effects when it hits and stuff like that. Just like a bunch of game development stuff that I don't have like the expertise to keep on talking into that. You have to have a good art style too. Like I was talking about UFC earlier, that game has no art style. It's just based in like realism, I guess you can say. Like if you see these games, I don't know why I have that Luke dancing. That motherfucker just looks stupid, but he just looks funny. But yeah, like Guilty Gear, I think Guilty Gear looks so nice. I didn't put that one other Arc System game, what's it called? Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Like that game looks so good too. Like I just feel like those like the reason I got into fighting games was because I only played Guilty Gear Strive because I remember I saw that they showed Giovanna and I thought she looked so cool, like the dog, like all her animations. I was like, wait, I've never heard of this game, Guilty Gear Strive. I gotta look into this, and I mean ever since that I just like got into it. Also, balancing is very hard, I think, when it comes to making these games. You gotta balance every single character. These games start with small rosters usually. And the last point for like of them being difficult, it's like they have to be fun, but also high skill ceilings for like newer players. This is like also discussion like how fighting games now. I know this is like last month there was a discussion that fighting games aren't that hard. Like other games are harder, like Rocket League or whatever. I don't know how you even like approach this. Like, do you make? I see people. Like 2XKO is doing the easy inputs. Street Fighter has modern. Is that the way to get people in? I'm not sure. Like I feel like this is something that is still being worked on. Like how do they onboard new players? I feel like it can be daunting if you've never played a fighting game and like having to like you have to learn all these things. Like I don't know, like when to take your turn, I guess, like what is in neutral, stuff like that. It's like, how do you do it? I don't know how you would even approach that. Next slide. And is another one is they take too long to make and they don't make enough money. They make money, but they don't make Call of Duty money. So like for example, Street Fighter 6 development started in 2018. That's 6 years from when it released. It took 6 years to make that game. And so I want to compare that to something like Call of Duty, which I know they switch studios every year, so it's like every 3 years one studio makes a new game, but still they release that game fucking every year, every single year. And Street Fighter took 6 years to make, and it barely sold 4 million units. Not barely. It's been out for what? It's been out for over a year now. It came out 2023 and it hit 4 million units. That's pretty good though. I think that's good. The most recent Call of Duty, which I know people didn't like. I'm pretty sure. I know like Call of Duty's been like on a downwards trend ever since like Black Ops 4 or something like that. I don't play them that much anymore, but it was still the second best selling game. I hear so much people criticizing this game, but it's still the second best selling game in 2023. It was behind Hogwarts Legacy, which sold 22 million. I know this probably doesn't matter to players. I'm pretty sure this is what like the big companies are looking at. These games that are coming out yearly are outperforming like these fighting games in like one day, which is sad, because I think fighting games take so much more effort. But I think that's like a discussion of the West compared to Japanese game development. I was watching a video of some guy actually talk about that. He made this game called Eternal Darkness, and it was on GameCube, like, so Nintendo like published it a while back. The difference of like mindsets of the development from Japan compared to like the West. These Japanese games are more development driven compared to the West, which is like very marketing driven. This is what he was saying. So this is like straight up from a developer. Kind of quoting it, but I'm kind of not. But he was saying a lot of games with no foundation have big ideas and like a bunch of marketing money, and that's like very Western. So like basically these ideas, they just like get ideas and big buzzwords, throw at you, and that's like the main goal, to just like catch you. Like they don't show gameplay, I guess, in a way. It's just about money basically. That's the thing. That's the reason why they do that. And also in that like little podcast who he was talking to, I'm gonna link it too, because that was like a good little video to watch. He was saying how like a lot of games from the West you see get canceled. I know I see this, like a lot of new games are just like being like, this game's gonna last. People say, oh, it's gonna last 2 weeks. It's gonna last whatever. I'm not saying, but I don't know how true that is. Because Concord's technically Sony. I know Sony's Japan. That shit just shit the bed. But that wasn't a Japanese company that made the game. It was just under Sony. And I have EA up here, which is basically FIFA, the soccer game, football, whatever you call it. That game, I know the newest one just came out like 2 weeks ago. EA Sports 24 last year, so FIFA from last year, got 11.3 million players. That's pretty ridiculous though. 11.3 million in the first week. And FIFA is like mostly known to like, they don't change shit. They add like one new game mode and then just like update stats. It's just terrible. I literally watched the trailer. I like soccer. Like I actually like keep up with like stuff, like I actually keep up with teams and stuff like that. I was watching the trailer for the new FIFA. I was like, they didn't show no new mechanics. Like there's nothing new. They didn't even show gameplay. It was just fucking Jude Bellingham on my fucking screen. They showed David Beckham. They showed all just these famous players just like promoting this game. I'm just like, so that's why I brought up the guy, because it's like, it is very marketing driven. Like the whole thing was just a commercial. There was no gameplay. They didn't show shit. I don't know. I put DBFC as maybe an exception, but it got 10 million as of May 2023. DBFC is maybe an outlier, kind of, not really. 5 years, it got 10 million. I don't know why I put an exception. That's pretty good for a fighting game, of course. Also, that's like a big name, Dragon Ball FighterZ. Yeah, it just shows you like that these games that are coming out yearly with no changes are just outselling these fighting games like so with ease, and it's sad. But I think that's just due to just like, it's not even the game that's keeping them play. It's like they actually just like soccer or football. Their love of that is what's carrying these games. Also, it's literally the biggest sport in the world, so it's like a game that you get to play that. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. The second to last slide, or second to last point. But fighting games are just still too niche. They are getting bigger though. They are definitely getting bigger. The thing is, I think fighting games aren't niche to the public. It's like the actual fighting game community, which I thought was very interesting. Because people know what a fatality is. Like if you say that to someone that doesn't play fighting games, they don't know what that is. They don't know what Street Fighter is. But yeah, all these companies have a bunch of different games, but they don't have fighting games. Like fighting games aren't just on the agenda at all. It's just very hard. I mean, it just like ties in with all the other points I was talking about. But Capcom does it, you know. They have their story games like Devil May Cry, but still have all these other fighting games that they're known for. It's possible to like balance it. Like they can do both. Also, I think another reason why fighting games aren't still like that huge is it's just 1v1, you know? It's you versus someone else. Like there's no one else. You can't play with friends. But that's the one thing why I liked 2XKO, was because it was 4 of us playing in one match. I thought that was really cool. That's like my favorite part about that game. That game is like, it's gonna, if it does good, I think it's gonna be interesting what it does to like fighting games. We're gonna have to wait and see. Is it gonna be the Fortnite of fighting games? Oh no. Wait, like some of these fighting games are selling well. Like I know Mortal Kombat 1 sold really good, but like that game's struggling to like just like keep players in and playing. We don't see more people buy these games, fighting games. There's not enough single player content. But I mean, fighting games aren't about single player, you know? They're about fighting someone else. I think single player stuff is fun sometimes. Like I do like lore. Like I actually like the Mortal Kombat story. I liked how they had like cutscenes and stuff. That's not the main thing why people play fighting games, in my opinion. Fighting games really struggle to keep players around. Like I was looking at the Steam charts. The first fighting game you see is at rank 79, which is Brawlhalla, which is a platform fighter, not even like a traditional 2D fighter. Fighter. Also, if you don't want to consider Brawlhalla as a fighting game, that's a whole different discussion. And then the next fighting game was Street Fighter, which was rank 79. Let's see tonight. This is today, the filming of the video. Brawlhalla is 80. 15,000 players. That's actually really well. I don't even think Street Fighter is going to be in the same rank it was. Also, Street Fighter is way bigger in Japan than it is over here. Because Street Fighter peaks at night. Like, I don't even see Street Fighter. Look, Street Fighter's right here. 115 right now. 9,000. But it is 2 p.m. right now. It's going to go up. Also, in fighting games, they're not team games. But you can't blame anyone else in fighting games. And I know that. Like, I know that. And that's why fighting games make me so mad, because I know if I'm losing, it's all on me. And I don't know if I know everyone's not like me, but like I feel like that could be a reason why people don't want to play. I literally show a clip of me. I punched my monitor playing, trying to get Akuma to master in Street Fighter. It's so bad. I literally stopped playing ranked because of that. But play the clip right now. Boom! If this good. Am I not in the fucking air? Am I not in the fucking air? Why did you do DP? Dude. I broke my monitor. You fucking dumbass. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Do you see this? Look what Shane just did. But going back to fighting games struggling to keep players around is that the ones that stay are the hardcore fans. Sometimes people don't like, you know, I don't want to come after like an 8-hour shift, come home and like play a fighting game or like, I gotta lab this scenario, you know. But like, I think that's enjoyable. To me, that's enjoyable. But I can see why people don't find that enjoyable. I can see why they would prefer to pick something up like Fortnite. Like you can just play a game and like, oh, okay, that was fun, you know. Like I gotta shoot someone. Like I didn't get packed up. And I'm not saying that fighting games is the hardest genre, but it isn't something you can just pick up once a week and expect to be like really good at it. Actual last slide. Wait, no, this isn't even the last slide. There's like 2 more slides. But trust me, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Promise. Please, 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 please. This might be another thing why fighting games, the arcade scene is just non-existent anymore. Home systems start taking over. I think this might be the weakest factor though. Maybe, I don't know. But I was looking into it and it's like arcades are just declining in general, obviously, because everyone has PC, everyone has a PlayStation, everyone has like their own console. Scene's still big in Japan for the arcades. I was looking at some stuff. But it's still declining. So like people were being inspired in making all these fighting games. So I feel like 90s was the big, like, was when they were huge, and that's when it went down though after that, because like I mean people were going to arcades playing Street Fighter 2. So this is when everyone's being inspired by one another, and like it was the moment to strike, you know, like you got to make a fighting game. Like this is what people are playing right now. Even though fighting games have gone in a decline, I think they are like getting bigger and bigger these days. Like they're getting more popular. I think it's in the sense that like people are actually like, people that are getting into it, they're like staying and like actually learning and stuff. Like Lily Pichu, like I would watch her for League of Legends. I never in 1,000 years, when I was getting into fighting games, I never thought I would see her playing Tekken. She's playing Street Fighter now. I'm seeing all these other people play Street Fighter, which is cool. I really like that. And I'm like new, so I hope it's cool to other people that are like have been in the FGC for a long time and seeing like, oh man, these new players are coming in. That's cool. Like, so there is a chance that like fighting games can be as big as they once were. But I'm just a youngin. I don't know if this like how popular they are now is how popular they were back then. But there's definitely potential there. Alright, these are my main takeaways. Me look like an idiot. Fighting games are hard to make. Fighting games don't make crazy numbers or money, whatever you want to say, compared to Call of Duty or these sports games that you can just make in 1 year time or 3 years time. And these fighting games are just struggling to keep an active player base, which is really important. You know, you gotta monetize battle passes and stuff like that, which is possible. I know Street Fighter 5 had like actual skins on actual players. That's one thing I wish Street Fighter did. Like, I wish they had more skins for characters. Like, I would grind battle passes. I'd actually buy that stuff. So you can do it. It's probably hard though. Like something with like character, and I don't know. There's a reason. There just always has to be a reason. I just don't understand. But regardless of everything I just said, everything's a fighting game at the end of the day. At the end of the day, everything's a fucking fighting game. For Honor, I was looking at, I know I didn't mention it earlier, but people were saying this is a fighting game. I was like, wait, what do you mean this is a fighting game? I've never, like, I seen gameplay. I played it back then in the beta. I remember people hated this game. I didn't even know it's popular now. So even though these big companies are making fighting games, the reality is everything's a fighting game, bro. If you look hard enough, chess is a fighting game. Got neutral, whiff punish, he misplaced, boom. Even grocery shopping, bro. I'm not gonna get into it. That could be a whole video in itself. Soccer, it's a fighting game. It's a fighting game. Ping pong, I played ping pong the other day. I was learning backspin, stuff like that, fighting game. I was getting mixed. Cooking, another fighting game. That's my next video though. Next in-depth video is why soccer/football is a fighting game. Because Ronaldo's joining fucking Fatal Fury. So it just seems fitting. Wait, maybe I shouldn't have said that. No one take my idea, please. Please don't do it better than me. I know somebody could do it better than me, but just don't do it, please. But that's the end of this video, this discourse, me yapping, me talking about something stupid. Did anybody make it this far? I don't know. I want to cry. No, I don't. I just hope to see, going forward, I just hope to see more fighting games. I love fighting games. They're so fun. I think they're so fun. They're so rewarding. I just want to see more fighting games. I want to see more people play fighting games. I think they're so, something about them. The way they make me feel. I don't know what to say. Is that cringe? That corny? I don't know. I'm just a piece of shit. Don't forget everything's a fighting game. Don't forget, play fighting games. Who am I talking to? Myself. I'm an idiot. I'm losing it. And I'm a little piece of